This is the Riviera. This is where royalty comes to play, where the azure blue Mediterranean sparkles below thousand-year-old villages, and great chefs from around the world come to pay homage. So of course, I'm here. It's my goal to experience the best the world has to offer. And this time, that means racing a Ferrari through the streets of Monaco, getting an insider's look at what it takes to captain a luxury cruise ship, hanging out with one of Spain's top chefs, tasting wines from one of Tuscany's oldest wineries, and experiencing the hidden gems of the Mediterranean. These are life-changing experiences, and they're all part of the luxury list. The word Mediterranean literally means middle land, because since the dawn of recorded history, this was the center of the known universe. You can forgive the ancient peoples of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East for believing that they lived in the world's most special place. Fast forward a few millennia, and today, the Mediterranean is still at the center of the world, and people still flock here for the climate, culture, and cuisine. The light is special here, the sun is more sublime, and even rainy days somehow seem more romantic. On a personal note, there is something so sexy about the sound of high heel shoes on cobblestone streets. This is a place of fashion and style. It has history and substance, but it's also very sexy. The Mediterranean is where the rich and beautiful come to play, and it's a place where billionaires linger over long meals, and models come to be seen. It's also a great destination for those of us with a little more modest means, especially if you're like me and you want to experience the best the world has to offer. As any young boy, who doesn't dream of driving a Ferrari? Well, if you're gonna get that chance, might as well do it where James Bond himself goes to play. And I can't think of a better place than the streets of Monaco. The windy roads, the view, the machine. Does it get any better than that? From somebody who drives a Ferrari every day, if you had to tell me, in your own opinion, what is the most incredible thing about a Ferrari, what would you say?
For me, the most incredible, if you prefer, first thing it's the engine, because you have fantastic engine. And you see when you drove the car with me, you never use a brake. You use only brake engine, okay, and stability with the car. And so in a turn, your car doesn't move, so it's really fantastic. And you can't find this driving with another car, you see, that's very special.
I honestly could not imagine driving a Ferrari that was an automatic shifting there, because the whole pleasure is the shifting, is the downshifting, is the upshifting.
Yeah, that's right. So there is no interest, you see. It's like your bike. If you drive your bike, okay, automatic, it won't be interesting for you. You see what I mean?
No, motorcycles, automatic, just wouldn't cut it. That's no pleasure driving experience at all.
I much prefer that kind of car because it's a pleasure and it's not a competition. You see, when you are in competition, you have Formula 1 palette, you see, so it's fantastic to earn a lot of time. But for pleasure, for driving this car, the best is with manual speed, you see. So the model you drove, okay, actually, it's a 360 Modena, it's a 400 horsepower. The engine, it's a V8, and it's a 3.6 liter, you see. And it's a marvelous car, you see. If you want to buy, for example, a Ferrari like a 360 Modena, like you drive, it's about 180,000 euros for a new one, you see.
The route we just took now, that was great. That was up the mountains, down the side, windy roads. I mean, can you get any better than that?
For me, if you prefer the best road for driving this car, it's a mountain road, you see, because it's a lot of turn, you see, and for me, it's the only way for driving this car, you see. To go on a highway, for example, and drive at 250 to 60 kilometers, okay, for me there is no interest, you see, because you just have to push on the accelerator and to stay like that, you see. But to have a very nice driving, okay, on mountain road, it's quite difficult. And so for me, that's the best road, okay, for driving there, yeah.
thank you very much. That was an absolute pleasure, and thanks for the teaching, the teaching on driving a Ferrari.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, it was great.
So what really goes on behind the scenes of a luxury cruise liner? Can you imagine hanging out with the captain and his team while the rest of us are swimming or playing or eating? Just imagine how much technology and instruments go into building a bridge. Now, if you ever get that chance, just a little piece of advice. Don't ask for a quick lesson on how to steer a ship. Captain Hans, so much goes on up here on the bridge that all of us as passengers never get to see.
You know, it's not only the bridge where a lot of things go on that passengers never see, because the bridge is actually fairly obvious when you navigate the ship. But there's a lot of things that are going on behind the screens which people never hear about, never see about. And it's like you never know what the day is going to be like. Every day is different. Captain takes his business, like he's a general manager of a business. You take your business, including your customers, including your employees, with you around the world. You're in a different place every day.
Can you give me a quick lesson on really what it takes to steer a ship of this size?
A quick lesson? It took me only 30 years, but I did it. Well, you know, first of all, you have to come from a navigation officer's rank. But to really teach you very fast how to sail a ship, it's almost impossible. But I can show you some of the instruments if you like.
Love to see them.
This is actually where we maneuver the ship. We operate the ship when you come into a harbor. Right now you're sailing on the ocean, that's on automatic pilot. But you come into a port and then suddenly you need to use your bow thrusters to swing the ship around. You need to adjust your speed. Like for example, I'm standing on top of a window.
It's a very cool glass floor.
That's why we have a maneuvering console here on the bridge wing. We need to see how close we are to the dock, because you come in too fast and you have $1 million dent.
What is it from your perspective that makes Holland America Line different from the other cruise companies?
Holland America Line, first of all, I really believe is the atmosphere on board with the Indonesian and Filipino crew, and they really put a stamp on the ship of friendly service, gracious service, and that is probably what the biggest difference of Holland America Line is, the atmosphere on board.
I just want to thank you so much for the time you've taken today on giving me this private tour of the bridge. It's absolutely fascinating to see this end of it. As we're so often pampered as a guest, it's nice to know what also goes on.
Well, you're very welcome, and I hope you learned something, because I learned something from you, and hope to see you back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, I eat, I drink. For those of you who know me, you might just find that shocking.